This is Palantir. I'm going to go over the chart for you on the 5-minute time frame, and I'm also going to go over a few other tickers as well. Palantir ended the week at $23.33, up 3.46%. To the north side from where we are takes us to 2 standard deviations and resistance and a potential take profit area at 23.68. Above that, 23.95 and 24.22. Change that color out. To the south side, back at the middle of the trend and the baseline and support from where we are, 23.12. A gap forms to the south side starting at roughly 23.04. And -2 standard deviations and another level of support, 22.56. Below that, 22.29 and $22. Looking left, note the bounce here at support, running through almost to resistance, close enough, fell back down, created a gap which filled. We gapped up, so then I anticipate a gap down and it touched right there. And then we went back up to resistance and then grinding along the middle of the trend and the baseline and then going back down and a gap up. And always anticipate a move to the downside when we hit an outlier, 2, 3, or 4 standard deviations. It could come back down, consolidate, go sideways, and then make another move up. But do not ever expect price to stay up there without falling down first to base and then make possibly our way up. Oh shoot, I need to, just a minute here, send my neighbor a message. All right, I really should turn off my phone. This happens to me all the time. All right, so now there's a gap. I'm going to flip this over to the 15-minute time frame so you could see this just a little bit easier here. We've got a gap to the south side that I've been tracking for a while, which opened up on the 6th of February. All right, it has not touched, not even close, not in the zone. We are going farther away since this is going up, the channel is going farther away from this gap to the south side. And then we have another gap, this one, still not in play, not even close, but I will just keep extending it. And as far as other gaps to the north side, there is a gap right here. This was part of my gap and go trades at one point, and it completed the gap, so I stopped tracking it. I own this for myself, but I like to rotate the gap and go trades that I do just for fun. Oops. There, I have my magnet turned on, so it does help me be a little bit more precise. But this is the next gap that I am looking forward to. Of course, it's not going to come easy. The stock will slam you down and you think, oh, it's the end of the world, I got to get out. And then it laughs at you and goes back up again. I have traded this multiple times in the past, but I will be keeping probably the rest of the shares that I have. Let me just mark this out. So this will take us to $24.45. The 1-year price target is no longer $20.43. We've hit that eons ago. The next target is, I believe, 35. Yeah, I marked it out as well. And ignore the horizontal lines. So this was an old price target, and now this is the price target. So from where we are, right here roughly, to about here, takes us to a 49% return from where we are. And I don't know if you saw this article on TradingView. It says one of the directors sold 20,000 shares of Class A common stock for a whopping $440,000. Congratulations. Good for her. I think the lowest I bought in was at, and we do have other gaps to the south side. Looks like 1073 is where I marked it. So I love Palantir. The next one, I'm going to move along quickly here because FTNT, FTNT, oops. Fortinet. And Trader Murat says that he sees a gap to the south side at $55.53. So I thought I would take a look at this. Thank you for the alert. But I will give you first price targets, and then we'll take a look at that gap to the south side. You really have to go in the big picture to see some of them, because sometimes they were created so long ago. All right, for your price targets first, right here, 58.88 is where we ended, down 9.69%. So this interests me for a potential trade. But because he alerted me to this gap, I don't think I would get in until we get closer to that level, because that is a much better buy-in than where we are now. And don't be desperate. If you're desperate, then you make crazy moves and then you get upset. So don't be upset. There are plenty of trades to find. All right. So to the north side, resistance and a potential take profit area, depending upon when you bought in, 60.77. A gap forms to the upside at 61.99. Resistance again, 63.68. This gap begins at 64.71. What do I got here? This one closes out at 3 standard deviations at 65.15. This one closes out at 65.41. And then this one at 66.60. So that is very nice. The 1-year price target is 71.97, which represents a 22% return from where we are. Excuse me. Now, to the gap, what did I mark? Oh, this was an old price target. Let's go to the 15-minute. See if we can. Nope, I need to go even bigger because I can't scroll. I have a tickle in my throat. I have massive allergies. Ugh. All right, this is the gap at 55.53. Let me mark. I think this is the gap that he and I have been tracking. Excuse me. I'm just going to mark out my lines here first and see if this is it. I'm going to turn this to white and I'm going to hit the coordinates at 55.53. So yeah, he's talking about this gap. All right, 55.53. And I drew a bigger gap. So I will mark that out, but close enough. We're in that range. I'm in that range with him. I agree with what he's saying. So there. I'm going to say it's going to go down to 55.39, even worse than what he expects. Now that again could be an opportunity for some, or if you're bleeding out, there's possibly more blood in the water here. And they just reported earnings. I mentioned this in another video of mine, and they got punished. Look at this. The stock fell down 9.96%. The first target we're at is 71, and then another leg up, $87. So these market makers are trying to get you out while they buy up the cheaper stocks, the shares, excuse me. But if I were trying to get into this, I would, let me also do one thing. What is, this one. Okay, I'm going to clean up. So this is the gap I'm talking about here, just a small one. And then this gap and this gap. Okay, this gap, I already took the price off, which means it closed. So we gapped down. So it closed out at 57.33, and then we were off to this level of resistance, and then the next level, and then tanked. All right. So this gap, did we? Oh, we touched right here. So that ended as well. So let me delete that one. So those are no longer in play to the downside, no longer a threat to our account. And then this gap here, look at this big bopper. See, if you're not tracking it every single day and then you pull out and see it on the big picture, it like hits you in the face. So we gap down. I will anticipate a gap to fill to the upside. And did that really touch? No. Look, if I stretch that out, close. So that is going to be carried forward for me when I do my charts, my charting there. All right, so that's something we could look forward to. So that is a gap to the upside. And then it closes here on the daily at resistance, close enough, 76.04. All right, yeah, that's an old price target there. And I think that's it for FTNT. And note the bounce here at support all the way up to resistance, a sell-off. Can't stay up there forever. Not happening, but I like this on the daily. The RSI is turning down, lovely, for a potential buy-in. Obviously, if you bought up here and you've held it and it's down here, you're going to cry. I've gone through that a gazillion times. Don't panic. I then start to claw my way back, and that's why it's so important to set a stop loss to get out when it triggers. And I'm terrible at doing that. Bounce, bounce, sell off. And I anticipate maybe even these lines have not crossed over yet together, but maybe we'll go down even more and then scoop back up. On the 5-minute time frame, still going down. So there could still be more pain to the south side before we see a correction. Yeah, see, there's room here to go to the south side. And look, my price target moved over because I switched time frames. I cannot do that. It gets all wonky on me. So let me fix this. 58.88. And let me show you if you don't realize what I've done. See, I moved it to the different time frame and then it stretched this out. So let me go back to the 5-minute, and it didn't keep again. Gosh darn it. It's slightly over. See that? That's what happens when you move on the different time frames. It never used to be like this. Now I hate it. All right, that's it. Let me move on. And I want to thank Murat also for the next ticker I'm going to go over, its path. He made a comment 3 weeks ago, and I forgot to make a video. And 3 weeks ago, he said that on Zacks, they put it as a #1 strong buy. So I'm going to mark it out for you. Well, I did mark it out for you. This is when he alerted me to this. All right. But look, we've fallen down since then. So this was a potential buy-in area. You know, many trades, I mean, yeah, it went up and then it went sideways, but yeah, you were still making money if you got in and got out. You could still do it all day long within the week because there are opportunities. But here, it went down to roughly 18.49. All right, so now we're clawing our way back, and I'll show you this. So Zacks rank, number 1. This is our short-term rating system that serves as a timeliness indicator for stocks over the next 1 to 3 months. How good is it? See rankings and related performance below. So number 1, strong buy, 24%. A buy, 18%. A hold, 9%. So industry rank, top 35%, 87 out of 252. And let me go back to this. So now let me give you price targets. Let me speed this up. 1978, 1996, 2014. All of these gaps starting at 2061 to 2219. So the 1-year price target is 27.98 on TradingView. To the south side, 1943, 1908, 1890, and 1872. All right. The next one, very quickly, DTCK on the 5-minute. I just did this on the daily. Now I'm going to give you price action on the 5-minute time frame. And this is for trader FF 2020 SS. Interested on this as a swing trade. So where are we? It's hard to see. Oh, and see how this is so hard to read because it's only $1.19. And I'm going to switch this over and take out all of the noise from that price action. I've already drawn out the gaps, all right? So you can see. So look at how much easier that is to read. All right, we are at $1.19. This here is on the daily time frames. Remember, it gets wonky on me. All right, so here we are. This gap forms to the north side at 120, closes out at 122. If we ride above that, that's 129, 140, and another take profit area, 150. If we get up to here, don't expect price to stay there. Look at this sell-off. Look at this sell-off, this sell-off. But it sells off for a potential leg to the upside. $1.08. This gap closes out at 105. $0.86 roughly, 76 and 65 cents. We are a long ways off, although we are going slightly down. So our 52-week low was 75 bucks. If we continue to go south, we could get there, but that is a long ways off. Many trades in between. And the last one I'm going to go over, just to recap, is DJT. This was for Fat Lips earlier in the week. Note when I looked at the price, we ran all the way to resistance here, here, and here, and that is a signal to get out, take your profits and run, lock in and leave, because that's what people did, and then boom, back down to support. This gap closed on the way down and then fell even more. That was at 46.90. Buy in, buy in, buy in. Now we've got a gap here too. All right, so your price targets for Monday, roughly 49.68, 51.01, and I don't anticipate we get to this level in one day, but if we do, fantastic. 52.32. Don't hold your breath though. 46.90, 44.22, 42.85, 41.48, and this gap to the south side takes us out at 38.49. And that is a look at Palantir, FTNT, Path, DTC, DJT, and my next video will be my gap and go trades for the week. And congratulations if you made some money off of Amgen. Check that out, up 11% on Friday, and I know I've done this one before. It's been a while. So, all right, the last time I looked at it was at 269.31. So we ran all the way up to resistance, fell back down to support your potential buy-in area, and voila, up here. Don't expect it to stay up here though. It could go up to still a little more for a womp back down. At least that's what I will anticipate. Look at that, overextended. But again, congrats. That's huge for Amgen at 311.29. That is a look at all of those tickers. If there is a ticker that you want me to go over, please let me know. And now I have to go and call my neighbor.